So good morning students. Today we are going to discuss about the new chapter reproduction in plants. So let's start from the definition of reproduction and what is reproduction. So reproduction is the production of the new individuals from their parents, right? And this is the characteristic of all living organisms. All living organisms, they reproduce to get the new generations, right? To get the new individuals. There are two modes of reproduction. The one is the sexual mode and the second one is the asexual mode of reproduction. So if we are going to discuss about the sexual mode of reproduction, it is the production of the new plants from the existing parents by the fusion of male and the female gametes. Now, what is in this method? That means the parents, both the parents, they are involved, the male one and the female one. And both the male and the female, they are basically, there is a fusion of their gametes and fertilization takes place. For example, in case of plants, because we are studying the reproduction in plants and we have discussed the diagram of structure of flower. In that, we studied about the male part and the female part. The male part, that is stamen, that contains anther and filament. And the female part, that is piston, that consists of stigma, style, ovary and ovules, right? So this we have discussed in the previous class. Here the male gametes are what? The male gametes, they are the pollen grains that we get from the anther. And the female gamete here is the egg that is there in the ovules. So what is going to be happen now? The pollen grains, they are going to be fused with the eggs. So the pollen grains, the male gametes, here they are going to be fused with the female gametes, that is the eggs. Okay, and in this way the fertilization will take place. Now what we are getting now, so you might have heard that the plants, they can be grown from the seeds. New plants, they can be grown from the seeds. So whenever there is fusion of male gametes and female gamete, fertilization takes place. What happens in this is we are getting the fruit. So when they basically fuse, they result in the formation of fruit. And we know the fruits, they contain seeds, right? And if we are having seeds, we can plant these seeds in the soil, they will germinate and they are going to give you a new plant. So in this way, the sexual mode of reproduction is there. We are getting a new plant from the male and from the female gamete that basically fuses to give you fruit, and that fruits, they contain the seeds. So this is about the sexual mode of reproduction. So that means what we are saying here, that flower is the reproductive part of a plant. So if we are talking about the sexual mode of reproduction, in that case flowers, they are important because flowers, they contain both the male gamete or the female gametes, right? And then there will be the fusion of these gametes. They will be giving you seeds that can be used to plant new. Okay, so in this way the new individuals you will be getting from the seeds. So this is about the sexual mode of reproduction. Now coming to the asexual mode. So like in the sexual mode of reproduction, we discussed about the gametes, the female and the male gametes, but here there is no gametes, right? So it is a production of new individuals from a single parent. without involvement of gametes, right? So no seed will be required or will be formed. And the next important characteristic is this: individuals, the new plants, right, will be the exact copy of their parents. So here there is no involvement of gametes. We are not talking about the male and the female gamete. Since there is no gamete formation, no fertilization and no seed formation will be there. So that means the new individuals, they are formed also, they are the exact copy of their parents. They will be similar to their parents. Then how the asexual mode of reproduction is there? So what are the different methods that are going to give rise to a new individual? So the different asexual mode of reproductions are: so the different methods we are talking about is fragmentation, budding, spore formation, next is vegetative propagation. So by using these methods, we will be getting the new individuals. If we are not using gametes, we will be using these methods to get the new individuals. Okay, so let's discuss firstly the difference between the sexual and the asexual mode of sexual mode of reproduction and asexual mode of reproduction we are going to discuss now. In sexual mode of reproduction, both the parents are involved, right? But in asexual, only one parent is involved. For the sexual mode of reproduction, if both parents are involved, that means their gametes will be involved. Female and the male gametes, they are involved in sexual mode. But here, there are no gametes. And these gametes, they will fuse and they will lead to the fertilization process. So fertilization, it takes place in the sexual mode, whereas the fertilization process, it is not there in the asexual mode. So if fertilization takes place, it will lead to the formation of fruits in case of plants. And the fruits, they will be containing the seeds. So the plants, the new plants that can be grown using the seeds. But here, because the fertilization is not taking place, so we'll be not getting the new plants from the seeds. Plus, one more important point, in case of sexual mode of reproduction, there are variations in the new individual. That means the new individual, it can't be the exact copy of their parents. But for the asexual mode of reproduction, the new individual, the new plant that is formed, it will be the exactly similar to its parents. Okay, so this is about the difference between these two, and now we are going to discuss about the asexual mode of reproductions in detail firstly. So we will be starting with the fragmentation method. The first mode of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Now, what is the meaning of fragment firstly? See, this is a marker. If I am going to break it into pieces, right, that pieces we call them as fragments. So breaking of a substance into pieces, we called it as fragments. So here also, the body of the parent is divided into some parts, some fragments. So that process is known as fragmentation. Okay, so the breaking up of the parent body into two or more fragments, where each fragment, it will be growing individually and will be becoming a mature one. Okay, so this fragmentation mode is most common in case of Spirogyra. Spirogyra. That is a algae basically. So you all have seen algae, right? So they are present on the stagnant water of ponds and lakes. But the question is how they rapidly reproduce, how they grow very rapidly. So they grow by the method of fragmentation. The algae, they grow rapidly by the method of fragmentation, where the parent body, it grows further, right? Here I have shown you two fragments. So these fragments, they will be growing and becoming mature, and then these two fragments, then they will be breaking and then they will produce further the fragments. Okay, so in this way the method of fragmentation, it goes on, and in within a very few time, the algae, they cover the whole pond water. Okay, so this I have shown you the structure of Spirogyra. This is the cytoplasm, the jelly-like fluid that is present. Okay, so this is the chloroplast, the green color pigment. This I have shown you the nucleus, cell membrane, and this is the cell wall. Okay, so this is the structure of algae, the Spirogyra. It will break down into two parts. I have shown the fragments. This is one fragment and this is the second fragment. Okay, so in this way it leads to the process of fragmentation. Now it will basically grow and becomes mature, and it will grow and becomes mature, and they will further proceed to the process of fragmentation. So in this way the fragmentation process is there in case of algae. Method, that is budding. Now firstly we will be discussing what is budding, okay, or what is a bud. So bud is a small bulb like projection or outgrowth that basically arises from the body of parent. So here you can see I have shown the budding in case of yeast and hydra. The budding method is most common in case of yeast and hydra. Yeast is very common thing that is used in the bakery products, right? So let's study how the yeast, they reproduce by budding. Okay, so this I have drawn the yeast cell. This is the nucleus, and firstly in the first case what happens is the nucleus, it gets elongated. So you can see here a new bud, a small bulb like projection is growing on the body of the parent. So this I have shown you the developing bud, and the nucleus, it gets elongated. Elongated means stretched. Okay, further in the second case there is division of nucleus. Now the bud will be having its own nucleus and the parent body will be having its own nucleus. So the nucleus of both get divided and we get a new bud here. Okay, now there are two cases. Either the bud, it remains attached to the parent body, or it gets detached from the parent body. So if it gets detached, that means bud nipped off. So the parent cell and the new yeast cell will be detached from each other and we will be getting a new yeast cell. But if the bud, it remains attached to the body of the parent, then we will be getting a chain of these new yeast cell. Okay, so in this way the budding method is common in case of yeast. So our third asexual mode of reproduction is spore formation, right? Spore formation, this is most commonly in case of plants like ferns and mosses. These plants, they are having spores, right? Small pores or openings that are present underside their leaves. Okay, now where these pores they are present, these pores they are present in sporangium. Okay, so these pores they are present in sporangium that is present on the underside of the leaves. So coming to the next point, that what is the protective coating of these pores? These pores, they are basically having a hard protective coating that helps it to protect them from the unfavorable conditions of temperature, rainfall and humidity. Okay, so whenever they get suitable conditions, they are present in the air, they will grow and germinate further. Okay, so in this way they lead to the formation of the new plants. These spores that are present in the air, they will germinate then whenever they get the suitable conditions of temperature, rainfall and humidity. Okay, so the other case where these spore formation is it is in the case of bread molds. So all of you have seen the fungus that is appearing on the bread molds, right? So it appears you like a thread-like structures, and these thread-like structures we call them as hyphae. Okay, so let's study the structure of bread molds. So like this we are going to draw the bread molds, and this you have commonly observed at your homes also, the fungus that is arising on the bread, right? So here I am going to show you the sporangium and the sporangiophores and the spores. So they are also present on the leaves, right? So this is hyphae, the thread-like structure, and hyphae, it contains sporangium. And in these sporangiums there are spores present, right? These sporangiums, they are present or they are attached by a long stalk that we called as sporangiophore. Okay, so this long stalk at the top of which the sporangium is present, we called it as sporangiophore. These are the sporangiums that contain the spores in them. So this is basically the structure of bread mold. Okay, so this is how the spore formation it takes place. When the sporangium it bursts out, this thing it bursts out and it releases all the spores in the air, and then these spores they germinate, right, and grow further. So in this way the spore formation it takes place in case of ferns, mosses, and in case of bread molds. Coming to the next mode of asexual reproduction, the last one is vegetative propagation method. Now let us study what is this method. Firstly, there are three vegetative parts of the plants by using which we can grow new plants, and these are stem, roots, and leaves. So you can use the stems, roots, and leaves of the plants to grow a new plant. So it is a type of asexual mode of reproduction in which we are growing new plants using the roots, stems, and leaves of the parent plant. So that's why we call this method as vegetative propagation method, right? So let's start the vegetative propagation by stem cutting. So stem cutting method is mostly used in case of rose and sugarcane. So what you have to do is you have to take the stem, right, of the rose plant, and that stem it must be bearing some leaves. Okay, so this stem of rose plant having buds and leaves, you have to plant in the soil, right? So when you are going to plant it in the soil, you will be observing the roots, right, and a new bud or new leaves coming from it. Okay, so in this way you will see after some time when you plant it in soil. So after few days you will be seeing the roots and new bud or leaves, they will be developing. Okay, so this is the method of stem cutting, where we are just taking the stem of the plant and we are planting it. In few days it will be growing to a new plant and then it will be bearing flowers. Okay, so this is the first method, the stem cutting method. The second one, that is vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation by leaves. Now we are using the leaves. Okay, so this basically vegetative propagation method by leaves is most common in case of bryophyllum and in case of cactus. In case of bryophyllum, what is there? Between the margins of the leaves there are buds. So here you will see that there are different buds that are present between the margins of these leaves, right? So when these buds, this is the leaf of Bryophyllum, okay? So the buds, they are present in the margins of the leaves. When these buds, they get detached and they fall in moist soil, right? So when this bud, it falls on the moist soil, it will give rise to a new plant. This bud will grow further and will give rise to a new plant. Okay, so this is in case of Bryophyllum, and same is the case for the cactus. Whenever any part from the parent body or the parent plant of the cactus, it gets detached from it, okay, it will fall on the soil, right, and then it will grow individually. So this is by the vegetative propagation by leaves or by the plants, okay, the parts of the plants. So here we are discussing about the bud, and similarly you can take the example of cactus, in which whatever the part of the cactus plant is detached from the parent one, it will be growing into the new one. So next is vegetative propagation by roots. This method is most common in case of sugarcane, in case of sweet potato, dahlia, and tamarind, right? So propagation by roots means we are taking the roots of the plant, right? So you have to take roots, right, having bud, and then you have to, these are the parents, this we take from the parent plant, right? So from the parent plant, just take the root and the buds, okay, and then plant them in the soil. So after few days, you will be observing a new plant that will be growing from the roots and the bud, okay? So this is by the vegetative propagation by roots, where we are using the root of the plants to grow a new plant. So the last method by stem tuber. So far we have discussed about the leaf, about the roots, right? So about the stem cutting. Now the fourth method of vegetative propagation is by stem tuber, right? So this is the most common in case of potato, ginger, and turmeric. All of you have seen the potato, right? So potato, on the potato you must have seen some scars or buds that are present on it. So we call these scars or buds as eyes, right? So these are the eyes of the potato, which will help us to grow a new plant. So in the figure you can see this is a potato plant, right? So we have planted this in the soil, right? So this is the underground view that we are showing you, okay? So this is planted in the soil, and you can see a new stem that is coming out in the form of basically a new plant. So this underground stem that you see is emerging from the bud, from the eye of potato. We call this as stem tuber, okay? So this is the stem tuber that is coming out from the bud or from the eye of the potato, that is going to give you a new potato plant, okay? So in this way we can basically grow a new potato plant from the bud of the original one. So we are using the bud of the parent plant, and from the bud, from the eyes, or you can say from the scars of the parent plant, we are growing a new potato using the stem tuber. Now this stem, it will give you a new potato plant, okay? So this is about the 4 methods of vegetative propagation. Now we will be discussing about the advantages and the disadvantages of this vegetative method. First, the advantages of the vegetative propagation method. So first is that this method is very quick, right? So the second one, it takes less time for the plants to grow, and the plants, they bear more fruits as compared to the plants that are grown with the seeds. The third is, if we are not having seeds of some plants like banana, sugarcane and pineapple, we don't have seeds of these plants, so they can be grown easily by this method, using the vegetative propagation method. Fourth point is that these plants, the plants that are grown by vegetative propagation method, they need less attention, right? And the fifth point is that if you are having certain desired characters in the parents and that are good qualities, and we want to transfer these qualities into the new plant also, so this is the best method of transferring those, okay? Because here the new plants, they will be the exact copies of their parents, so whatever the qualities they are of the parents, that will be transferred to the new plants, okay? So these are the advantages of vegetative propagation method. Now let's discuss the disadvantages of the vegetative propagation method. So the first disadvantage is this, that if the parent plant is having some disease, right, they are exactly going to the new plant, okay? So then at that point we can't use this method. Second one is, you can't store the vegetative parts for a longer time. Like we can store the seeds for longer time, but the vegetative parts like roots, stems and leaves, we can't store them for longer time. The third is, the plants that we are growing through these methods, they find difficulty in adapting to their environments, right? So these are the advantages and the disadvantages of the vegetative propagation method. So I hope the concept of sexual and asexual reproduction is clear to you, along with the 4 methods of asexual reproduction: the vegetative one, the spore formation, budding and the fragmentation.